Well, hello everybody. It's good to see you again. I hope that you're doing okay. We're coming to you from a different room in my house today because this is his room. Come here. Come here. This is. This is Buddy. Buddy, say hi. Buddy, say hi. Buddy, don't be rude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about his baby. Will you just say hi? Ooh, ooh, you're so cute. So this is Buddy. It's his bedtime, so I'm hanging out in his room just so that he will stop running around the house and waking up my children. Mwah. Say bye. Bye. Bye-bye. So today we're going to finish up the left side of our bracket. And we're halfway done. So quick results from yesterday. In My Life by the Beatles lost to Johnny B. Good by 54%. The Boxer and Purple Rain, 90% of you chose Purple Rain. That was not close. I hope you got to see that video and enjoy that. Just high-level music making and a scrumptious little guitar solo in there and the crowd singing along and oh, goosebumps. NSYNC's Bye 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 versus Shape of You. 56% of you chose Bye Bye Bye. So Bye Bye Bye, Shape of You. And then 7 Years versus Pompeii. What are you doing? Thought he was peeing. We're good. No pee. 54% of you chose Pompeii, so that is moving on also. So the songs for today, there's not a ton of hugely important information as far as backstory on these songs goes. There's a bunch of small little stories that aren't hugely important, so I think I'm just going to leave them out and just let you listen. The Doors' Light My Fire versus Elton John's Your Song is the first little matchup here. The Doors' lead man was Jim Morrison, another polarizing figure, controversial figure at times in the mid-late 60s into the early 70s. And they wrote this song, Light My Fire, originally was about 7.5 minutes long, which is long for pop music, rock and roll music and stuff like that, especially if we're talking about radio time. So they shortened it to 2 minutes and 52 seconds. So they took out all the instrumental solos and everything, and it just became an overnight smash for them, made them famous overnight, basically. And then a lot of the radio stations started playing the 7-minute version anyways because people were asking for it. And so they were asked to be on the Ed Sullivan Show, which is a huge deal for musicians back in the 60s. And the producers of the show said, there's some lyrics that you need to clean up before you perform on our stage. Jim Morrison said, okay, we'll do that, and they didn't. He sang the originals anyway, and it was live, so needless to say, they were not asked back onto the Ed Sullivan Show after that. And the last part of Jim Morrison's life, a lot of it actually was, but the last stretch of his life was pretty dark. Light My Fire was the last song that their band played live. In 1970, he was doing a show, and halfway through this song, he just became belligerent and took the microphone and slammed it into the ground and stormed off stage and just ended the show there. And he was going through some stuff, and not long after that, he actually died from some heart problems due to heroin use, actually. And he died when he was 27 years old. Just super sad stuff. So that's Light My Fire. And then Your Song by Elton John. Excited for you to see the live performance. It's the 70s, and he's got his flashy little gaudy jacket on with his sunglasses and everything. Just classic Elton John, but such a pretty song. And he wrote music with a guy named Bernie Taupin sometimes. And this Bernie Taupin character once said that a song should never take more than a half an hour to write. So he was staying with Elton John at Elton John's mom's house, and he wrote the lyrics to this song at breakfast one morning. He just cranked it out, and he was 17 years old. And later he said he wouldn't have been able to write this as an adult because as a high school kid he still had that fantastical, idea of what love was. And so he said that the early songs he wrote were not drawn from experience, but from just imagination. And he said that your song could only have been written by a 17-year-old because I guess he got burned a few times by love in his life. And so, yeah, this was Elton John's first really big hit. Really made him really big in America also. Just a pretty song. So hope you enjoy that. And then the last little matchup here is California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas versus For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. California Dreamin', written by a married couple. The wife was from California. They were living in New York in the dead of winter. She didn't love that, and her husband actually woke up in the middle of the night with this song idea and woke her up and said, "You gotta help me finish this song." And then they wrote California Dreamin', and it became a huge hit for the Mamas and the Papas. It's an unusual pop song in that it contains a flute solo. You don't hear a whole lot of pop music with flute solos in them, and even more obscure, it's an alto flute, which is a lower sounding flute. Squeaky toy. That's gonna be distracting. Oh, it's hard to think during the squeaks. It's rhythmic. I'm gonna try to work through this. So focus. You focus, me focus. Maybe you can't even hear it and you think I'm losing my mind. We were talking about something. California Dreamin'. I encourage you to watch the live performance and get to the point where the guy on the right steps forward and sings the solo. I can't. Buddy, quit it. Where the guy on the right steps forward and sings the solo, because it's really awesome. So enjoy that. And then, seriously, buddy, quit it. Ooh, you're so cute, but stop it. For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. I'll be honest with you, I did not know that this song was called For What It's Worth. I didn't think I knew this song, and then I pressed play on it. I was like, oh, this song. I love this song. It's in a lot of movies. Right away with that little guitar riff, I immediately recognized it, and I think a lot of you might do the same. But this one just came from some turmoil in the 60s in Los Angeles, kind of a protesty type song. In LA at the time, the police and the youth weren't really getting along very much, and there was a bunch of younger people hanging out in a certain place that the police did not want them to be hanging out. So they showed up in their full riot gear and the shields and everything and got them out of there. And one of the band members said, "Whoa, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? There's no reason for it." So I went back and I wrote For What It's Worth, and it took me as long to write it as it took me to write the lyrics down. It all came together and it took about 15 minutes. These people write music fast. It's crazy. So you might recognize it. I'm sorry I couldn't find a higher quality live performance of it, but I think that you'll get the picture. Neil Young was a part of this group. I don't know if you know the name Neil Young, but he was part of Buffalo Springfield Band. So there you go. That's what you're voting on today, so good luck with that. And then the newer songs, excuse me, that you are voting on. Dynamite by Taio Cruz versus Gangnam Style. Another moment of honesty here. I had never listened to that whole song before today. I'd heard the chorus, obviously, the Gangnam Style, but I listened to the whole song today. 3.5 billion views on YouTube of this song. Billion. That's almost half the planet. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a lot of people watching one song. Right, buddy? Seriously. And then the other one is Old Town Road. Perhaps you've heard of that. Versus Bad Day by Daniel Powter. 'Cause I had a bad day. Thinking on now. So, you vote on those. Next week, I will get you the results from the entire left side of the bracket, so you can take a look at what songs will be battling in the second round, and then we'll hit up the right side. And April 9th, I don't know if you knew this, is National Unicorn Day. So I hope that you get a chance to get out and not get out, but stay in and celebrate. And in honor of National Unicorn Day, the word of the day is unicorn. Spelling counts, UNICORN. So remember that, please, unicorn. So next week I plan on doing a little bit more interacting with you kids, now that I feel like we're getting in the swing of this a little bit. But I know that these times have thrown a wrench in a lot of people's Easter traditions, but I just hope that you're able to spend some time with people that you love. And I know I say it every time, but I miss you. Thinking about you kids, and I love you. And so does Buddy. Buddy, do you want to say goodnight? Oh, you're sleeping already. Okay.